When you're watching this. It probably won't be morning when you're watching this, to be perfectly honest. Let's start over. Hello, and welcome to the Modern Skein podcast. My name is Sharon Graff, and I am the owner of the Modern Skein, which is a yarn shop here in Montgomery, Texas. And I'm going to move the microphone real quick because I don't know if it's picking it up. I don't want to move the... I think that works. So, hello. Hopefully, sound is good on this. If it's not, I'm going to re-record it and you'll never know. So anyway, hello and welcome to the podcast channel. Again, my name is Sharon Graff and I do own the Modern Skein, which is a yarn shop here in Montgomery, Texas. We are also online and of course around the world with our website, social media, YouTube, Instagram, Threads. We're on Threads now. I just feel like Threads is just another thing to keep up with, to be perfectly honest. I do like the kind of low maintenance aspect of Threads, if you will. Like, you don't really have hashtags or you don't have to have a photo. It's kind of low maintenance in that fact, but then it's still something I've got to do another post, So I don't know how active I'm going to be on Threads, to be perfectly honest. We'll see. But yes, you can find us at the Modern Skein on Instagram, Facebook. We're not as active on Facebook, to be perfectly honest. I really don't like Facebook. It's just me. Threads. Our website is themodernskein.com. Yeah. I just hadn't really done a big, full introduction here in a while, so hello. I believe this is episode 124, 125, maybe 126. I looked the other day and I was like, I'm going to make sure I look before filming so that I know what episode we're on. Did I do that? No, it's fine. So, grab your beverage. I have iced coffee in a protein shaker mug. To be perfectly honest, it was the only thing that had a lid that I could bring to the store that was clean, because I have never-ending, almost said groceries. That too. I have never-ending laundry and dishes, it seems like. And we're just two people. I don't know. Oh, there's Siri. Cerber! Come here. Anyway, before we get totally distracted, it's hot and humid here in Texas, so it makes the weather just nasty. But I have been doing some knitting and some crocheting, and I actually have two finished objects to share with you. One I finished this week, and then the other one I had finished last time we aired or recorded an episode, but I had completely forgotten that it was finished and forgot to show you guys. So we'll start with that one. Also, thanks for the like on where I filmed last week's podcast. It is good, but it's not exactly what I want. Yeah, so we're trying other places, and I can already tell I'm not thrilled with this one either. So we're just gonna have to see. Play it by ear. I also don't like this one because people can walk by the front and see in, and it's kind of weird. So anyway, this, can you tell that's happening right now? I feel like I'm in a fishbowl, or when you would go by a radio station and it was all glass and they'd be doing the radio show and you could just watch them. That's weird. Anyway, okay, so this is my dinner with my captain. This is a pattern by Hinterim von Stein, and this is the back, this is the front, and I don't know if you can see on there, I put little like abalone shell buttons. It's so cute. So I did the cropped version, which is not super cropped, you guys. It's the kind of cropped that I'm willing to wear. So just like basically hits just at the top of your waistband, at least it does on me. The long version I feel is definitely someone with a long torso, or if you like because the back is going to be longer than the front, no matter what size you do. If you're wanting a little more coverage on your rear, almost borderline tunic, borderline. I still have enough on this. I can even front tuck it into high-waisted pants. So the yarn I used, we have sold out because it is a popular color. This is Labyrinth by Hedgehog Fibre is the multicolor blue, and then Barley Fields is the yellow. We still have some Barley Fields. We are unfortunately out of the Labyrinth, and I don't have an ETA yet when it will be back in stock. I'm hoping by Yarn Trail is when she said maybe we could get it, or maybe during Yarn Trail it might show up. So anyway, if you are like heart set on this colorway, it will be coming in, but I wouldn't say until maybe at the earliest late August, maybe 1st of September. We have tons of other colors though that I highly recommend, including some new ones from Red Stag. You can kind of see right there. I'll say that's something I like about podcasting here is I have this little table right next to me, not just like stuff in front of me, and I like it. Also, I didn't do my hair this morning because it's hot. I really didn't feel like blow drying my hair, so it's half wet and you get what you get. So, I don't have any other, I don't really have much to say about this pattern. It's a fun knit. It's a quick knit because you do these repeats of this striping sequence, and then you're either knitting in one direction or you're knitting side to side. I'll say top to bottom or side to side, and it just keeps it varied and exciting. I would recommend, as far as color choices, oops, I just kicked the table. As far as color choices, either go with two solids, like let's say Sunday. You could do like, if you want something kind of like the original, you could do like deep marine and putty, or what's the other one? Oh, light beige. One of those. We have tons of other colors too. Or pick two tonals, like let's say Red Stag Fibre, two of his solid tonals, Chelsea Luxe, Life in the Long Grass, Mad Tosh, any of those where you have kind of more of the tonals. Or, like I did, pick a tonal or solid and pair it with a variegated or speckled. You're not going to want to do two speckleds or two variegated. You're going to lose your stripes. But you could definitely do like a Hedgehog Fibre, like something like Brigid or Juniper, or even Mulberry. I'm just looking over there at some of the colors, and then pair it with a solid from Red Stag Fibre, or Sunday from Sandnes Garn. Same with Mad Tosh. Pick one of their solid tonals, one of their speckles. Chelsea Luxe, you could do the same thing. So lots of different options. I'm gonna go ahead and show this. But like you could do this combo, and this would be really pretty. So this is a new color from Red Stag, we'll talk about in a minute. This is Hebrides, and then this is Sky Through the Forest. So this is a variegated, slightly speckled yarn, and that would work really good for that. What I wouldn't do would be like this. You're not going to see the difference. So that's that about Dinner with My Captain. I would not say it's a advanced knit. I would just say it's adventurous beginner. It's a well-written pattern. Love it. Again, Dinner with My Captain, Hinterim von Stein. And the tag is written wrong. Anyway, so that's one finished object. My second finished object is my crochet. Ta-da! So this is the water clover. Her name is like Isa Captian, I think is what it is. I'm going to write it out in the show notes. But it's out of a back issue of Pom Pom magazine, which we don't have anymore, but it is going to be a featured pattern in their new crochet anthology book that's coming out, which by the time this airs, I should have pre-orders up for the crochet anthology book. I believe it's launching early part of August. I want to say like the 5th or something like that. So water clover, and this is a crochet top. It is not knit, and it is gorgeous. I love it. I used the Kelbourne Woolens Mojave yarn in the colorway Pickle. This is the same yarn that was used in the original design. I ended up crocheting the size 2 because I really didn't want a ton of positive ease, and I only have, say, maybe an inch. I really don't have it, and it's perfect. Okay, so you start at the bottom and you work your way up. Before you separate for your sleeves, and just crochet the front or the back, you end up knitting the pattern repeat. I think in the pattern it said repeat this 2 more times, so for a total of 3 repeats. I got to 3 repeats and I'm like, it's a little more cropped than I really want, so I added an extra repeat for my size. I think if I'd gone to the next size up, I would have had that built in anyway. I'm not entirely sure that I remember that accurately or not, but it's an easy enough pattern to simply add that repeat in and you're going to be fine. I did not actually need any extra yarn even doing that extra repeat. I still have some of my last ball left over, so yarn wise I was fine. Hook size. So the pattern calls for a stupidly small hook. So Mojave is a sport to DK, kind of depends on your definition of either, really. I really consider it to be a sport or light DK personally, but it is that yarn. And they called for a 1.5 millimeter hook. If you're familiar at all, 1.5 practically is like it's not really, but it's almost, you're getting close to like beading size. That's doily, it's a very, 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 very tiny hook. Like, I just futzed around with it. I couldn't even get it to grab the yarn because the hook's too small to even grab the yarn, okay? So, she says in there, if you go into Ravelry, she does have a little blurb afterwards saying that she realizes not everyone can actually use that size hook, but she just wants you to have a very, 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 very dense gauge. I ended up getting that dense gauge and I hated it. So I ended up using it was like this stiff fabric that you would never want to wear. It was terrible. So I ended up going up to a C hook, which I believe is a 3 millimeter, if I recall correctly. Yeah, because the D should be 3.25 and E would be 3.5. Anyway, I used a C hook from Prim, and I'm happy. I loved the fabric. And to be perfectly honest, even though my gauge is larger than what she says it should be in the pattern, I still got the same garment size that it said I would get with the size 2. So it didn't, even though my gauge is larger, it did not change my bust circumference of the finished piece. So all in all, I'm happy with that. I think personally what you should do is do the crocheted swatch and find a fabric that you like. Now, I don't think it needs to be a loose fabric so you can really see the, the patterning in here for sure. But I definitely don't think it should be stiff that it stands up straight on its own. My personal opinion, if you like it that way, by all means do it. Again, it's just my opinion. That being said, I think it's a very fun crochet, a fairly well, I'll say it's a well-written pattern. It's a fairly easy to follow pattern as far as crochet goes, as long as you are familiar and comfortable doing the stitches involved. There are decreased stitches. You're doing single crochet. Of course, you're doing lots of chaining, but single crochets, double crochets, decreased stitches. At the end, there's some treble crochets. I don't think there's any half double. I don't remember doing any half double. So again, as long as you are familiar with those crochet terms and you're comfortable reading a crochet pattern, it's not charted to my knowledge, unless there may be putting a chart in the anthology book, but it wasn't charted in the magazine that I worked out of. I just did it row by row. But yeah, I like it. I would say again, a adventurous beginner. If you have YouTubed or gone to classes or have done all those stitches before, then absolutely give this a shot. It's a fun one, and it goes fairly quickly as well as far as crochet goes. Crochets can be fast. Not a guarantee that it's fast, but it can be fast, and this was just a really good fun project, good make along. So that if you do that and you finish it by August 31st, then you can still be entered into our plant-based make along. There's still plenty of time. I know that we have a few entries in already for the plant make along. Again, to qualify, you do need to use plant-based yarn that you've purchased here at the Modern Skein, and knit or crochet or weave. You can do all 3 projects, and send us a picture of the finished item. So definitely do that. Tag us on social media. Okay, I did not bring all the whips that I wanted to bring because I knew I was going to podcast this morning, and then when I loaded up my car, it went out of my head, and so I only brought 2 projects that I'm working on. But it kind of works out because those are the 2 projects I'm putting the most of my knitting effort into right now. Okay, so this is how my brain is working right now. I have tons of whips. Y'all don't even want to know how many whips I have. But I'm picking whips and I'm doing 3 different types. So, for example, I have a very simple garter stitch project that I'm going to show you. That is my social knitting. I bring to the shop to get a few rows in between customers because it's something I don't even need the pattern. It's garter stitch. I can drop it in the middle of a row to answer the phone. It's that kind of project. So I have that I'm working on. Then I have what I call my craft room project. So it's my most brain power using project at this time, and you might laugh at me because most people wouldn't think it's a brain power one, but I have this weird thing. I have a hard time with slip stitches. Confession time, okay? Slip stitches are the easiest thing on planet Earth. They really are. You literally slip the stitch. You don't do anything with it. It's easy. My brain wants to do something to that stitch. So it's well, you should be doing color work. You should brioche it. You should do a yarn over if you're slipping a stitch. I mean, just all these different things. So with that, when I'm doing a slip stitch project, so what I mean by that is mosaic. And that's the thing that I'm working on is more of a mosaic knitting, where it looks kind of like color work, or it looks like color work, but you are not using both strands in the same row. So with mosaic, you use one color, you knit across and you slip the stitches that aren't in that color, and you purl or knit back and you slip the stitches that aren't in that color. Then you take that other color and you slip the ones you did before and you knit the ones or purl the ones, that one. So you basically, you have to get 2 rows done, you have to knit it 4 times, because you do it 2 times in one color, 2 times in another. So again, it's a way of creating color work without having to use 2 at a time, which is great. And again, it's very simple and it's very attainable. 99.9% of the people on the planet could do that. It's super easy. My brain just kind of glitches out. So I have to concentrate when I'm doing mosaic. And I love charts. I have a very hard time doing mosaic or slip stitch charts. It's weird, I know. So anyway, I'm like post-it note, line by line, doing these sort of projects. And so that's a very long-winded explanation of, I have my slip stitch project in my craft room, and that's my concentrate. So that only gets worked on maybe on the weekends, on Monday, sometimes when I come home at night, if I have something I can do, but it doesn't get worked on a lot. So I have my social, I'll say, project, my craft room project, and then I have, it could be TV knitting, but it could also be just, it's not garter stitch, but it's not, like I have a pattern or a chart to follow, but it's fairly easy, So, kind of breaking it down into those 3. So when I finish one, then I can replace it with another one of that likeness in difficulty, if you will. And that's kind of been a way that I've got a plan to get through some of my whips that I want to finish, but I get stalled out on because I either get bored with it or it's a little more complicated. I can't bring it to the shop, etc., etc. So that just gives you a little insight into how my brain works. So first off, let me show you my simple project. This is my field shawl by Max the Knitter. Ta-da! Made some pretty good progress here. So the field shawl, you start at one end and you're alternating your stripes, and then you get to the middle and you reverse it. And then you go back the other way and you're decreasing. So see, they have a little point there. Oh, I love it. It's so soft. It's so squish. It's neutral. It's black and gold. And I'm so excited for this project. I love it. So the yarn is, of course, Les Garçons, Moira's Black Rose, and Cardis Ochrrre. And as y'all know, we are hosting Max and Vincent at our booth at DFW, which is so exciting. I am thrilled that we are bringing them from Canada to DFW, and we're bringing tons of yarn and some other special special things that are super exciting and in the works. So I'm knitting all the things for samples for DFW, and this is one of them. So we will have we currently, I know we're out of Moira's Black Rose, but I think we have some Cardis Ochrrre on the wall over there. But we will have more of both of these at our booth at DFW. So again, it's the Les Garçons British DK. It takes basically 2 of each color to do the field shawl, or DK of any kind. You could use red Stag Fibre, you could use double Sunday, Kelbourne Woolens Scout would be lovely. I think there's actually somebody in the shop that was doing, like, she got 2 skeins of Les Garçons yarn and then 2 skeins of Scout and is doing it. You can also do 2 skeins of Surrey, like Castle Surrey, not you, boo. And then 2 skeins of DK as well. There is one of the samples that he did originally that was a skein, or one side is Surrey, the other side is just a regular DK. I think it was his hand spun when he did that sample. So again, Field Shawl by Maxim. We also, that kind of coincides with our Max and Vincent knit along that we have started. Highly encourage you to come along with that, because you can knit your Max or Vincent's pattern, or use any pattern but use their yarn, the Les Garçons yarn, and bring it to finish it, bring it to DFW and get your picture with Max and Vincent. We're doing this beautiful photo backdrop in the booth. It's gonna be so much fun. And then Max and Vincent will be there. They can help you pick out colors for your next project, ooh and ah over your knits, just all the things. It's gonna be so much fun, you guys. So excited. Okay, so my next whip is also by Max. You can sense a little theme. My at-home project is also Max's. But I am honored to be test knitting for Max again. This is the right side. I am test knitting the interference sweater. I love it. I haven't even steamed it. I was going to steam it this morning so you guys could really see it nice, but like this much of it's been steamed, and then I've knit all the rest. So again, this is the interference sweater by Maxim. The pattern, pattern might be out for DFW, because I know we have to be done by the 25th of August. So it might be out mid-September. But play it by ear. It takes 3 colors of yarn. I highly recommend, because I played around with colors on this, and I've started this sweater several times. You truly need, I just ripped out stitches, for your color work, your B and C yarns need to be extreme contrast for this to work. So it may look like it is not black and white. It is dark navy and white. So it's Whipped Cream by Sandnes Garn in the Double Sunday, and then Sailor in the Dark, also from Double Sunday, or Sandnes Garn Double Sunday. And then my main color is Cardamom or Camel. I can never remember. It's either Cardamom or Camel. And yes, I knit a sleeve, and I'm going to knit another sleeve here in a second, because I like getting the sleeves done first before going on to the body. Once I finish the color work on the body, then I'm going to switch over and do the last sleeve. Love this knit. It's a very easy knit. It's not long floats. I think the most you have is 7 stitches, so it's great for someone, I'll say, wanting to do beginner color work. And the other great thing is, because there's a lot of 1x1, there's a lot of 2x2. What was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, you're never doing 3 colors at a time, so that's awesome. The other thing I would say is your main color needs to be almost in a completely different color family than your 2 contrasts. And I played around with it. It also, I don't particularly care for the look of a dark body with those 2, with the 2 contrasts. Didn't work for me. But that being said, Scout's going to be a great yarn for it. I actually tried it in a couple different colors of Scout. I just didn't like the colors I was picking with them, but the color work and everything shows up great. So Scout, Double Sunday, Estate DK, of course British DK as well. Like I said, I just highly recommend that you get high contrast for your I'll say your black and white. Whether you go black and white, whether you go neon peach and dark purple. Okay, high contrast. That's what I'm just going to say with this one, is high contrast is going to be the best. I love pushing the boundaries and doing high contrast things in low contrast. I haven't seen it work yet with any of the other testers or myself. So just my 2 cents on this, and I love this so much. So this is like my DFW sweater. Yeah, loving it. So again, Interference by Max the Knitter. It is a test knit, and once I have a better idea on when it's going to be released, of course you'll hear about it on the podcast when I finish everything up. Last but not least, I don't have any other whips with me, but I do want to put the tessellated vest on my needles as soon as I finish one of these other projects. The tessellated vest is Andrea Mowry's Rhinebeck vest, and it is done in a sport. It's done in a sport, but totally honest, the stitch gauge is, I can't get that on a sport. It's just physically impossible for me to do that. It's such a inch. It's like 27 stitches per 4 inches. That's fingering. That is just hands down fingering gauge. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to find a light sport or just a heavy fingering and do it in, or what. But I do know I'm going to use my leftover Fua Fua from my Moon Bumps wrap, which is right there. I say I know I'm going to do that, but then I'm also having like, ooh, but there's all the Surrey here. That would be so good too. So all in all, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I have Fua Fua, and this is enough to do the size that I'm going to knit in it. I also have birch and cobblestone in a sport. It's sport. There's also the navy blue Andorra. Like, I'm loving this kind of color palette. Y'all know that. I haven't decided yet. So maybe by the next episode, I will have decided on colors and cast it on. Maybe. We'll see. Speaking of new colors, I wanted to show you guys the new colors from Red Stag that we just got in. So we released his summer colors, which they play so beautifully together. We have Highland Scotch, Compton Bay, which is the variegated, and then Hebrides. You can do 3-color shawl, the 3-color shawl by Joji Locatelli. If you want to do just 2 colors, do like these 2 or these 2. You know what would be gorgeous? Actually, these 2 to do a Pure Joy by Joji Locatelli. That would be gorgeous. But those are the 3 new summer colors. We do have them still available on Cottage Sock. We also got a couple other colors that we've restocked on Cottage Sock that we haven't had in a long time. Provincial, one of his beautiful summery speckles. Sky Through the Forest, which I showed a little bit earlier. And then we also restocked Royal Mantle, which is that beautiful purple. And then Royal Ballet. And I know we restocked a couple others. I know Air was one and something else, but they're all on the website. We also found we were missing some photographs, so that has been fixed, hopefully, on your end, and you can see all the beautiful colors of Red Stag. The other things that are new or newer to the shop at the moment, MDK field guides, we've restocked a little while ago now. The Grace, because that's been super popular. The Quattro wrap, y'all know I loved knitting the Quattro wrap. That's another great simple travel project, honestly, because you knit it in these little small sections, so it's easy to stuff in a small bag or a carry-on. It's sport weight. It's a great one. I also love my Grace Notes pullover as well. So the Grace book is great, and then this is Field Guide number 24. This is Spark by Olga Bura-Kilifin. And she's got some cute accessory pieces like necklaces and cuffs, and then also a tote, a wrap, and a pop over top as well. So these are on the website, along with a few other issues of the field guide that we have in stock. And we also restocked Ready Set Socks. Ready Set Socks is just that great go-to sock book that we recommend everybody have if they are sock knitters. And then, of course, the latest issue of Pom Pom. It's the Summer Crush. Lots of crochet stuff in here too. This top on the front is crocheted. It's gorgeous. We've got a couple people doing that top right now. Excuse me. And then there's this fun crocheted bag on the back too. And there's knit projects in here as well. There's this beautiful little knit lacy. It kind of looks like a drop stitch. I know it's not, but it's gorgeous. And then there's a fun dress that you could make into a top. There's a bucket hat. There's also this top, which is cool. So lots of fun open lacy designs. Highly recommend this issue. And I think this might be our last copy. It was the last one on the book stand. I know we had it somewhere else in the shop. So this might be our last one. But that wraps up what I was going to share this week in this episode. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in and participating. If you would leave a comment, say hi. I always try to respond to all the comments. And of course, if you are loving this episode and many more, I do encourage you to subscribe and hit the get notifications button so that you do get notified when I put up an episode. I am getting back on my every 2 weeks schedule of podcasting, and I am enjoying it so far. So highly enjoy bringing a little bit of my knitting world and crocheting world, crafting in general. I have like the hiccups all of a sudden. I don't know why. But bringing that to you guys and sharing a little bit of my day with you. So thanks for tuning in. Again, don't forget to follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, if you're so inclined. I think I'm going to really use Threads as more of like BTS, behind the scenes kind of random stuff. So it'll be an experiment. We'll see. But thanks so much for tuning in. You can always shop our website anytime, 24 hours a day, themodernskein.com. And of course, come into the shop Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 4. We'll see you in the shop soon. Bye, guys.